these Rovers competitive. This class of racing was dominated by Ford Capris until a couple of years ago. Then the Rovers came in, but that is the Opel Monza. Tony Lanfranchi, one of the real characters of motor racing, 48 years old, comes from a Huddersfield baking family with Italian origins, and there it's sliding that Opel very wide, run by the General Motors team. And Tony was telling me last night that he's got great hopes for this car. He feels it can get amongst the Rovers. It is only really in its first year of development, while the Rovers are in the third year. One of the Data Post Fiestas, one of the Data Post Fords just stopped going past me. There is Tony Lanfranchi, up in fourth place. Quite a surprise, that. You see that familiar crash helmet of Tony, the man who once turned down an offer to drive for Enzo Ferrari, a test drive because Enzo wouldn't pay his airfare over to Italy. Tony has, of course, driven Formula 1 cars, he's driven Formula 2 cars, Formula 3 cars, virtually everything he's driven, and he's won perhaps 500 races. But back to the Rovers. Alan, I love it. Sittner still closing. This is lap number 5, a long way to go yet. You see the two Rovers with very definitely in the picture now, the BMW, Frank Sittner. There it is, the familiar lines of that sporty BMW. Apparently Frank feels that he's going to come into his own later in the race because he says that the BMW has better brakes than a Rover, and this circuit is particularly hard on brakes. Brian?
Having lost the Formula 2 Championship with a brake malfunction back in '79 here, I know particularly that the circuit is both hard on brakes and tyres. And I think Frank is probably quite right in saying that if he takes it gently in the beginning of the race, his tyres and brakes will be in a much better condition. But I'm sure that Jeff Allen is driving well within himself, and at the moment looks to have the whole race under control.
So just as you were talking, Brian, it looked as if Frank was getting a little bit desperate. He slid wide and almost got on the grass. Now they're coming under the bridge again. I don't know if it's very much on top speed. They seem to be very close. But there's a sad sight. In the pits, he obviously had a bump. That is the Metro. And that there is a very unhappy driver looking at it. That is not Tony Pond's car. Same colour scheme, but that is the normally aspirated Metro of Patrick Watts, Kilowatt, it says on the back of his car. And he's obviously tangled with somebody. So Patrick Watts, the man who made the news when he got married on the day he was racing in the Race of Champions, is out of this race. But back to the leader, and Jeff Allen, very experienced driver from Epsom, runs a car and van hire business, starting to pull away a little bit from Peter Lovett, who also is in the motor trade down in Wiltshire. And there you have a spinner. Oh, that looks like Demon Tweaks himself. Alan Minshaw has spun off in his Volkswagen. Alan Minshaw. And we got another Volkswagen. All the Volkswagens are going round. Well, they're all spinning like mad there. That's the Volkswagen of Alan Greenhalgh. Oh, and there's one of the Alphas. That looks like Andrew Thorpe. Andrew Thorpe in the Alpha Sud. So, well, quite a battle down in Class C. So now we see them going through again for lap number 7. And the BMW closing very much on Peter Lovett, and I think we're going to see a challenge very soon. Brian Henson, if you were driving in Frank Sittner's seat, where would you try and get past that Rover?
Well, just as he's doing now, he's trying his chicane at the bottom sensor, and having said that, the Rover's attacking him again, and he's got the inside line, got the advantage, and he's away. I think that Frank's obviously decided at this stage of the race is when he's going to attack the Rover. And I go back to my original comment. I think that this car number 3 has been thrown around quite a lot, and his tyres and brakes are probably have been used up somewhat more than the BMW and the leading car of Jeff Allen.
Well, we hope that the war would start, that the BMW would get amongst the Rovers, and it looks as that is exactly what's going to happen here. Frank's in a personal crusade to try and get amongst these Rovers. He did it good at Silverstone in his first race and then missed the chicane, or went straight on the chicane and had a 10-second penalty, which dropped him down the field a little bit. Meanwhile, Jeff Allen is starting to pull away. Seems to love it, starting perhaps to drive defensively and not take the fastest line, but drive through the Frank Sigma finds it very, very difficult to get past. Well, past the pits, the crowded pits into Redgate Corner. This curtain raiser for the Formula 2 championship race later in the afternoon. Now down Hollywood. Trade occurs where the cars go rather light and then break into the old hairpin. And Tony Pond is in about 7th place. Tony Pond on my lap chart in 7th place and right behind Dennis Leach's Rover, the little turbocharged Metro. Sitter still working hard at this at 25 laps.